If you're like me who's been trying to make panettone at home and then you go online to find the molds you need to buy, or maybe you go and check in the grocery stores and there's nothing, well, let me show you how easy this is to make at home. There were a few options available on Amazon, but the problem with those was that everybody was saying that the molds would like pop open in the oven, and I didn't want to take that risk. So that's why I thought maybe I should create my own and build myself. So what we're gonna do is to create the panettone mold, we're gonna use parchment paper to bake it. It's a little bit thin. If you can find thicker one, it's even better. But I'm not sure if I can find it anywhere. I'm gonna use the bottom of one of the cake pots that you put in the oven that's removable. I think this is a really good base for the mold. And I'm gonna use a paper roll to help me with creating the shape and the mold. Now here is some organic glue that I created with flour, sugar, and water over heat, which will make this thick paste, which then we can use to spread. Because we don't really want to use glue that you can buy at the store on something that you're gonna bake, and maybe the panettone itself is gonna absorb everything. So that's why we make our own. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we have enough parchment paper that is going to go around this bottom of the pan for around 2 times, pretty much. So I'm just gonna take a wild guess that maybe it's going to be around this much. Perfect. This parchment paper is 15 inches tall, I think. So if you're using a parchment paper like this one, what we're going to do, we're going to fold it almost in half, maybe leaving around 1 inch in the bottom, like this. Awesome. And then right after we do this is where the fun begins. We are going to fold the bottom part one more time, but this time now we have to keep in mind that the fold that's going to happen here is what's going to be at the base of the mold that we're going to use to stick to this cake mold. So let's try to do like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 fold at the bottom of this. Make sure that you are folding this as equally as possible, because then when you go around, it's not going to look as circular as it should. All right. So now at the end, you should have something like this. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is on this bottom fold that we just created, we're going to start making cuts of about maybe 1 inch or so. Okay, so when it's done, it should look something like this, which we're gonna put aside for now. And then we're gonna take 2 sheets of parchment paper that are roughly a little bit bigger than the cake mold that we're gonna use. And then on this cake mold, we're gonna put the parchment paper and try to print a circle on this. We're gonna cut it out. Now that we have this circular shape over here, I am going to use some scissors to cut that out. Perfect. So now we're going to grab the paper roll. So let's put the first one down and then grab some of that glue. Now let's put the other layer on top. And now what we're gonna do step by step is we're gonna grab glue, make sure that we're covering all around this circle. We're going to grab the parchment paper that we prepared, and we're going to start rolling this around. What really helps is maybe putting 1 or 2 down from the middle, while then you start adjusting everything else. All right, we rotate and we repeat the same step until we're finished with the parchment paper. Now you're going to notice over here that we are going around, even though we have enough parchment paper over here. The reason why we do that is because here, where the parchment papers meet, we want to make sure that we have extra space so it doesn't pop open in that area, which was pretty much the main common problem I was seeing with all the Amazon molds. All right, now if you want this to look perfect in the bottom, you can put another parchment paper right around here. So that is how you make the panettone mold at home. I feel like this is easier, it's stable, it's using natural ingredients, so there's nothing toxic in it, and it's gonna make for a perfect panettone bake.